and welcome back to another All Heart video. So for today, I thought we would just do kind of a nice, easy video, show you our routine from the moment that we wake up. I know that my children are awake because they are running around in the living room and they are waiting to help me make breakfast. So I kind of want to show you that routine. And then from there, we transition over to our homeschool. And that way you can get to see the types of activities that they are working on currently. So with that, let's go ahead and get started on today's video. Both of my children have always loved to help me in the kitchen, especially when it comes to preparing meals. The first thing that you see my son doing is setting their places at the table. He's grabbing their dishes, their cups, and their forks. The next things he grabs are their aprons to make sure that they keep their clothes nice and clean. So for breakfast today, my children decided they wanted French toast. So you will need an egg, vanilla, and your choice of milk, and of course, your bread. I make sure that both of my children share in the tasks of preparing breakfast. You can see that even though my daughter loves to help me in the kitchen, she's not too keen on getting her hands dirty. So we are now in our playroom, and the first thing that my daughter says as we walk in is, "The playroom looks really dirty. It's time to clean." While my daughter finished cleaning, my son started working on this felt puzzle of the human brain. He's got an entire area dedicated to all of his human anatomy, and if you remember from our last video, he was working on a skeleton puzzle. So now he's working on all of the human organs, and today he wanted to work with the brain felt puzzle. So it's wonderful for him to be able to learn all of the different parts, and he is also learning all of the different functions as well. My son really enjoys working with different mazes. I think it's a really fun and challenging activity. Not only is it good for their fine motor skills and their hand and eye coordination, but it really takes a level of concentration and focus to be able to complete these puzzles. So these two puzzles I also keep in the human anatomy area, and I love that both of my children get to partake in these activities. Puzzles are just a really great way to really fine-tune their fine motor skills and their hand and eye coordination, but it's also a really fun way for them to learn the different parts of the human body, both outside of the body and the internal organs as well. Once my daughter was finished with the puzzle, I was asking her if she could show me the different parts that I named. So I could ask her, can you show me the eyes? Can you show me the heart? Can you show me the stomach? And I believe the final thing I asked her was if she could show me where the bones were. Once my daughter finished that puzzle, she decided that she wanted to work on a different activity. So you can see that anytime she wants to work on something on the floor, she goes to grab her Montessori rug. Now, she wanted to work with her guide craft tactile turn and match. Now, this is a really excellent sensory activity, and I got this for her third birthday, which just passed recently. But I think it's just perfect for her to be able to really identify different types of textures, not just by feeling them, but also by naming each of the different ones as well and how they feel to her. So I really do enjoy this activity a lot, and I'm really glad that my daughter took to it as well. Now, if you've been following us for a while, you'll recognize this activity as part of our Dinosaur series that we had. And I still have these activities out because both of my children are still very much engaged with utilizing each of these activities. So right now he is using the geometric tiles to complete this puzzle. Not only are these tiles perfect for their fine motor skills and their hand and eye coordination, but also for shape identification as well. My children love to use these tiles in different ways, but as you can see here, the most common way to use them is to create different types of pictures. By this time, my children decided it was time for a snack. So you'll see that my son is taking everything out in order to chop up his apple. So he is grabbing the peeler, the apple slicer, and also his cutting board. I love how every time that they're doing something in the kitchen, it really is like a team effort. One will grab one thing while somebody else will grab something else, but in the end, they both complete the task. Practical life activities are perhaps one of my favorite areas when it comes to Montessori, and that's why I always say that I feel like it's just more important to set up your home than it is to set up your playroom first, because this really is going to allow your child to become a lot more independent and confident, and it really makes them feel like they're an active member inside their household. So now we are back in the playroom, and now that they have a little bit more energy after their snack, my daughter wanted to work with these puzzles. So once again, she's grabbing her little mat and she's grabbing all of the different puzzles. Now, these puzzles I featured in my Montessori and Waldorf Easter basket ideas, and I do not regret this purchase one bit. These puzzles are absolutely beautiful. They are so perfect in size, and just the different illustrations on them are absolutely beautiful. So if these happen to be in stock, I really do hope that you guys end up grabbing them, because they really are beautiful, especially for the springtime activities table that we have. Even though this isn't exactly a Montessori tool that you would find in a Montessori classroom, they do have self-correcting properties. So as you can see, even when my daughter makes a mistake, there is no need for me to correct her and tell her that. She is able to figure it out on her own and correct that mistake by herself. So these are the Grimm's small houses, and I really love this open-ended toy because it's incredibly versatile. Sometimes my children will use them to build their communities, and they are using them as actual houses, but as you can see, you can use them to stack as well, and it's also a really wonderful puzzle when you are placing them back on their designated tray. So it's nice that my daughter was able to really figure out that perhaps placing the smaller houses at the bottom was not the best idea. And you can see that the second time around, she's placing the bigger houses, so it is a lot more sturdy. So again, even though it is an open-ended toy, she was able to recognize the fault at the beginning, and she was able to correct that all on her own. So this is an actual Montessori tool, and they are called the red rods. And they're usually introduced to children from about 2.5 to about 6 years old. And the purpose of the red rods is to develop the child's visual and muscular perception of length. Now my son is using one of the extensions for the red rods, and he is creating a maze. So there's a lot of different uses for the red rods, and you can utilize them in different ways. And I often get questions from parents about whether or not I allow my children to be able to use Montessori materials however they want. And I absolutely do, so long as they are not mistreating the items or using them in a way that could hurt them or hurt somebody else. They are more than free to be able to use them however they want. So as you can see, both of my children love being able to use these. They love being able to create this maze and walk through it. And as you'll see coming up next, my son was using one of the wooden balls to be able to roll it through the maze. And through this, he was able to learn that different surfaces like the rug, the ball would roll a lot slower. And then once he got to the wood floor, the ball would roll a lot faster. So you can see that he kind of learned that on his own. So he was trying to go nice and slowly on the wood floor so that the ball wouldn't roll so hard that it would shift any of the red rods around. So the final activity is just a simple cutting activity. This is perfect for young children to be able to coordinate the use of both of their hands, developing their fine motor skills and their hand and eye coordination. My daughter really enjoys being able to cut the paper, and so I've provided a little tray with as much paper as she will want to cut. And for a while, she'll actually sit there and just cut paper for the longest time. So it's just a really nice, easy activity that you can set up at home. Just give them some child-safe scissors and a little tray of paper, and they will cut to their little heart's content. And once she was finished with that, she grabbed her little paddle with the little broom, and she made sure that she picked up all of the different papers and threw them in the trash. My children love to finish off the day by climbing their rainbow bridge over towards their pickler triangle. And that will do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and remember to ring that notification bell so that you are notified of when I next post a video. I post videos every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you back here very, very soon.